Elon Musk can't seem to stay out of the news. Rocket launches, Twitter fights, SEC investigations, nothing seems to be off limits. But Elon Musk isn't the only well-known member of the Musk family. His brother, Kimbal, is worth an estimated $700 million and is widely regarded as a global social entrepreneur, in part due to his efforts to do for food what Elon has done for electric cars and space travel. In this video, we'll be taking an in-depth look at Elon Musk's brother, Kimbal Musk, what his upbringing was like, what motivates him, and how he's been so successful. Origins. Kimbal Musk, the youngest son of supermodel May and engineer Elon Musk, was born September 20, 1972, and grew up in Pretoria, South Africa during a terribly violent time with his siblings Elon and Tosca. Kimbal's father, Errol, was an engineer, and while Kimbal was young, both he and Elon were required to go to the sites of their father's jobs and learn how to lay bricks, install plumbing, fit windows, and put in electrical wiring. They were taught the value of work while young, but it wasn't a pleasant upbringing due to their father's demeanor. It was a very emotionally challenging upbringing, but it made us who we are today. He eventually left South Africa to pursue a business degree along with his brother Elon at Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, Canada. He would later graduate from Queen's in 1995 with his business degree. Early business ventures. In 1994, Kimbal would begin the first of what would become many business ventures when he joined a franchise residential painting business in Canada named College Pro Painters. Said Kimbal of his time at College Pro, "I did a business in a box called College Pro Painters. They taught you how to paint houses, how to hire and fire, how to sell, how to deal with customers. You got a 1-year franchise. It was the hardest year of my life in terms of hard work. I won Manager of the Year. I made $15,000 the first year and $35,000 the second year. For a student, that's crazy money." Immediately after graduating in 1995, Kimbal sold off his part of the franchise, pooled the money with his brothers, and they bought a 1970s BMW 320i to drive to California. There, he and Elon co-founded Global Link Information Network, later renamed Zip2, a software startup that was acquired 4 years later in 1999 by Compaq for $307 million. While Kimbal only owned a relatively small portion of Zip2, he states that his portion of the sale, an estimated $15 million, was enough for me never to have to work again. Kimbal quickly moved to New York, bought a nice apartment, and began attending the French Culinary Institute. Kimbal's passion for cooking had been hatched as a teenager when he used to cook for his entire family. While the Musk family had a maid who cooked food, apparently it wasn't up to Kimbal's standards. In 2001, just after 9/11, at the age of 29, he spent 6 weeks cooking for volunteers and firefighters. Musk would later comment on the impact this time cooking for firefighters had on his career trajectory into the restaurant industry. These firefighters would come from the most traumatic places you can imagine, and they would sit down and eat and come back to the real world. We would give them a connection and a break. It was truly profound. It was the reason I decided to do a restaurant. The restaurateur. Embarking on his restaurant dream and following a cross-country tour, Kimbal eventually settled on opening a restaurant in Boulder, Colorado, which he claims is the Silicon Valley of natural foods. Plus, the weather is great. Before opening his own restaurant, however, Kimbal worked as a line cook at a local Boulder restaurant for over a year, learning skills and styles of cooking that were different from what he had learned in New York. Following this stint as a line cook, he would open his own restaurant, which he named The Kitchen, in 2004, financed largely on his own, but with a little help from others including Elon. It was wildly successful, eventually named one of America's top restaurants and one of the top restaurants in the United States by Open Table. Musk would later comment, "I'd been cooking as a hobby. I now wanted to make it my career." Kimbal is also a supporter of food education as the co-founder of Big Green, which offers learning garden curriculum options to schools with the purpose of educating children in food literacy and encouraging real food education. Big Green had 425 gardens by 2017 and was teaching over 250,000 students and counting. Kimbal is also the co-founder of Square Roots, an indoor urban farming community connecting people in cities to local real food, and the Million Gardens movement, which is dedicated to mobilizing 1 million people to grow their own food and reap the benefits of gardening. Kimbal's restaurant group now operates 3 farm-to-table restaurant chains across the nation. In 2016, he also invested in meal subscription service Every Table and lab-grown meat company Upside Foods. Other business ventures. While pursuing his restaurant dreams, Kimbal continued investing in his brother Elon's other business ventures and pursuing his own business ventures as well. First, there was X.com in 1999, where Kimbal was a minority investor. X.com would eventually become a part of PayPal, netting Kimbal another substantial financial windfall. In 2004, he joined Tesla's board the same year Elon invested $6.5 million in the company to become its largest stakeholder and chairman of the board. For his service on the board, Kimbal netted a significant amount of Tesla shares, which has contributed largely to his estimated net worth of $700 million. Shortly after joining Tesla's board, he also took on the position of CEO at an ad network company called One Riot in 2006. He would stay on as a CEO at One Riot until he broke his neck in a tubing accident on Valentine's Day 2010. And while paralyzed, lying horizontally for nearly 2 months, he decided that he was done with tech and would instead focus on food. While Kimbal Musk continues to have strong ties to technology, his true passion is food. He's even compared the food sector to the internet in the 1990s, stating, "We've never seen this kind of innovation around food. You couldn't design a worse food system than what we have." He stated that his long-term goal is to establish a network of business, educational, and agricultural ventures that will promote nutritious, sustainable, real food across the country. Industrial food has totally failed America. The more I dig in, the more I get passionate about being part of solving that. A true humanitarian by heart, we can only hope Kimbal follows in his brother's footsteps to change the world for the better. That brings us to the end of today's video. If you liked the video, please leave and like a comment below. Also, if you're new to this channel, subscribe and click the notification bell to get notified when we upload more content. We'll see you guys in the next one.